and they contacted that person and you had never gone to their office. So, yeah, I love it when you sit there looking like you don't know what I'm talking about when you do know what I'm talking about.
That's the mic dropping, and there is nothing like a Miss Jackson mic drop. We're going to go head back to 2022, Louisiana, where this man who's done the worst type of offenses is having a parole revocation hearing. Is he going to be able to pull one over, or is he going to get revoked? Let's jump in.
State your name and DOC for the record.
Dwayne McKinney. Dwayne Lamont McKinney, DOC number 370957.
All right, Dwayne, you heard the introductions. We're here for a parole revocation hearing. Do you have a parole questionnaire in front of you? Piece of paper with a parole revocation questionnaire in front of you, no?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
Can you read and write?
Yes, sir.
So we're here for a parole revocation hearing. Let me explain the process to you. I'll read some violations. You'll plead guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement, or not guilty with a statement. We'll ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
All right. Dwayne McKinney, DOC number 370957. Rule number 2, you failed to report as instructed for the months of March and June 2022. How did you plead?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay. Number 8, a sex offender or sexual violent predator that is released on parole will, as per department policy and the directions of the parole board, be referred to an approved sex offender treatment provider and must successfully complete an approved sex offender treatment program. You were directed to enroll in and complete an approved sex offender treatment program on March 13, 2022. You were reminded on this multiple occasions: April 13, 2022, April 25th, 2022, May 9th, 2022, May 11th, 2022, June 13th, 2022, June 29th, 2022, July 6th, 2022, and August 3rd, 2022. Since the referral, you have not contacted counsel as directed. You have failed to enroll and successfully complete an approved sex offender treatment program. How do you plead?
I'm guilty.
All right. Well, tell me why you're not guilty on both of those charges. Talk to me.
Reason why, because I have completed the program that was actually required. At the time, Mr. Dupree was officer. Parole officer Dupree was not my parole officer. Mr. Roger Marlin was my parole officer. I graduated Steve Harvard program. My wife was there. Yes, I have taken the sex offender class. Yes, sir, I have. Substance abuse. Mr. Murphy was my, he was there, Mr. Albrecht. I was working on, my job required me to leave different types of hours pipeline.
I understand that, but you were required to complete these sex offender treatment programs while you were out. Why did you not go to them?
But during that, that was brought up to me at the last minute's notice when I got locked up. On the second Wednesday of the month, I was support Mr. Dupree thinking I'm still on parole. I'm on probation. Well, at the time, I couldn't talk to Mr. Dupree.
But that's part of your requirements of your parole. I mean, you'll complete that. You'll go to sex offender treatment. You'll enroll and be involved. You didn't know about it? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you're a sex offender, that's part of the law. It's required. Right. Date on that?
7/14.
7/14/21. That you signed the contract knowing that on 7/14.
7/14.
It's a sex offender, violent predator contract. You're required to sign on your, for your release on parole.
I'm not on parole for no sex offender. I'm on parole for distribution of crack cocaine.
Oh, that's true, he's not.
There's you signed a requirement there. You have any input, Mr. Murphy, of there, the classes he's taken? How long have you been in there?
Sir, so he's not currently enrolled. He graduated our program in 2018. He was enrolled in our classes. However, he did not phase in the class. So he did not test in there. He worked his workbook. He just never took his tests. But he was enrolled in the class.
In the sex offender classes?
Yes, sir. So we run our classes parallel. So he was involved in the Steve Hull substance abuse program, but it's one of the requirements that if he has to register upon completion of our program, he has to be enrolled in the sex offender class.
Right.
And like I said, he never took his tests. So he did not, what we call phase in the class.
So you took all phases?
No, sir, he was just in the class. So he learned his risk factors. He learned those things. He just never took his test. So he was not given the completion of the class, if that makes sense.
Why wouldn't he take his tests? It's just confusing to me. Why would he not take his tests? I'm trying to understand exactly.
No, I understand. And I wasn't his full-time instructor, so I can't really speak to that. I was kind of a fill-in instructor at the time for just a little brief. So.
Well, part of your revocation, part of your requirements were to follow up with the sex offender treatment. I mean, it's clear, and you didn't do it. I'm just trying to figure out why you didn't do it. Just saying you didn't know and you were working pipelines. Is that it?
Yes, sir. All this was brought on me at the last minute. This last minute is like the day I got arrested. That's the day he told me he violated me for not taking the class. I told him I had taken this up at Steve R program. That's because it was confusing to me. I have no problem with taking the phases class. No problem whatsoever.
So you didn't get with your parole officer and understand? I mean, so you sign a contract when you leave. I hear what you're saying, but you sign a contract when you leave, and that's part of it. I mean, I would assume you would have read the contract that you signed when you're released. All right, I would, I shouldn't assume that, but you're supposed to read it before you go on probation, parole, right?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't read it?
Read what? The contract. What contract?
You signed, right, that you have to sign.
I signed some definition sentence paper.
Yep.
So what was the contract?
Well, part of the special provisions was child sexual predator and sexually violent predator, and all the information that's written up in your revocation.
But I wasn't never convicted of assault, child sexual predator.
I didn't say. I said that special conditions for sexually violent predator. You obviously had some type of sexual crime somewhere, right?
Yeah, I took the trial. Yes, sir. I got convicted.
Simple rape?
Simple rape. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you're supposed to follow the sexual requirements of the state. You have a question? Okay. I don't have any further questions. Would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
It was all a misunderstanding on my behalf, sir. I mean, with all due respect, I mean, if I know what I know now, I mean, yes, sir. I'm trying to correct, why I'm being in here.
Right.
It's
Good
so
idea.
it's not-
Okay. All right, it's panel prepared to vote?
I'm just asking the parole board to help me. I'm not trying to be in here wasting nobody's time. I enjoy getting up going to work. But my check doesn't be what people think it is. You know what I mean? My check don't be over $700. So I have to work. I could have went back to a life of selling drugs or crime, but I chose not to. That's not who I am.
Right, well, you'll be right back in here, right back where you are, so.
That's why I chose not to.
Okay. All right. Okay, panel prepared to vote. I'll vote first. Look, I find you guilty to 8. I mean, it's clear what you signed. It's clear that what your charge was. You need to get out, and when you are released again, you need to make sure you follow all the rules. You sign the contract. I find you guilty to 8. My vote is to revoke your parole. Ms. Wise.
I do want to, Ms. McKinley, you had the compliance date of 10/18/22. If you had been doing what you were supposed to be doing, you would have been off supervision October the 18th of 2022. I just want you to hear that. I just want you to hear that. Just dig in and do what you got to do. You have a prior sex offense. When you have a prior sex offense that follows you, and you got, and I want to commend you that you did get out and get a job this time. You got that part right. But you didn't comply. And there's also indication in the record that you test positive for meth on 19/21. The officer didn't put that in the application. So so my vote is to revoke as well. I find you guilty based on the case documentation and your testimony today.
With my colleagues, Mr. McKinney, you knew you needed to go to sex offender treatment. You even told the parole officer that you had gone, but you couldn't afford the $5,000. And they contacted that person and you had never gone to their office. So, yeah, I love it when you sit there looking like you don't know what I'm talking about, when you do know what I'm talking about. But my vote today is to revoke.
Right, 3 votes to revoke. Your parole's been revoked.
So how much time I'm looking at? How much time I got to back up?
They figured it out for you.
Oh my goodness.
Woo! No one drops a mic like Miss Jackson. I love that she did that. That was awesome. It is true. He's trying to play the cards like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what contract. I don't know. It's like, come on, man. You get out. And like they were saying, he could have just followed the rules and gotten through everything. And then he's actually has the audacity to sit here to take the strategy, the approach of, I have no idea what it is you're talking. What contract, what programs, what did I have to do? I don't have any information on what he did do. There's no records, but he is still locked up. So he asked how much time he was backing. I don't know, but this hearing happened October 2022. And as of March 26, 2024, he is still locked up. Whatever he was convicted for, it was a 1997 sexual assault, and it must have been pretty bad for him to have gotten even as much time as he did. I think 20 years. I'm not quite sure, but Miss Jackson with the epic mic drop. I'm gonna miss her. I wish, out of all that left the board, I wish Miss Jackson was still on. But with that, see you soon.
For a change lifestyle concerning of others. And now during this epidemic turn into a world pandemic, coronavirus data and the other virus with a new symbol of monkeypox, the quarantine of still an inmate still not wearing masks or without this throughout this facility, and we are one closed in a closed dorm. Okay, my health and my state are concerned. excuse me, are concerned. Okay, and
All right,
We are about to watch the 2022 parole hearing of a man who served 10 years of his 12-year sentence for doing the worst to a child. We will also go over the appeal, which he had won in court, that takes into account his competency. And it's an interesting appeal to go through. We'll go through.
all right. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
all right, Jeremy Johnson, 623-427.
Okay, Jeremy, my name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with me is Ms. Jackson, Ms. Wise. We'll explain the process to you. Read some information to the record, have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond at the end. You can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Jeremy Johnson, DOC number 623-427. You are a first-class offender. Parole eligibility date 5/23/2017. You're not eligible for good time, and your full term is 6/7/2024. 12 years. Indecent behavior with a juvenile. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How old are you?
33, sir.
How long how many years have you been in jail?
I've been in jail 10 and a half years, sir.
Okay. And 10 and a half years on 12-year sentence, so you're getting close. Tell me what kind of classes have you taken? What have you done while you've been incarcerated?
I have taken the sex offender program, which was at Bayou Dorche Correctional Center, and I have taken the anger management classes.
I see. I only have on here that you took phase 1 and phase 2 of your sex offender treatment. Have you taken anything other than phase 1 and phase 2?
Yes, sir. I took let's see. I took sex offender treatment under was successful was participating in the sex offender program treatment, complete phase 1 through 4 at the Bayou Dorche Correctional Center, and I have the certificates with me that I graduated, and I took I completed the anger management program, and that was it, sir.
What was the date of that?
The date was stated December the 19th, 2021.
2021. Just got it done. Okay, that's good. Well, you got it done. Now, do you have a high school diploma or a GED?
High school diploma, sir.
What year did you graduate in?
2008. I think it was May the 25th at Houghton High School. I was in a special ed education.
Okay, Houghton, yeah, good. Okay. Have you had any disciplinary write-ups?
Yes, I had one disciplinary write-up at the Bayou Dorche Correctional Center. Would you let me explain the write-up whenever asked?
Tell me what the write-up was.
Okay, the write-up was I had a report of a contraband as the determinant of a dorm orderly. I was cleaning the dorm up, and I had extra bleach and to clean up the dorm orderly, and I was I had some extra ones, and I had to write to and they diverted me to a court with Ashley Johnson and Mr. Lieutenant J.R. Lewis, and remained in the blood and the stuff was on floors and walls and stuff like that, and so I keep bleach to keep the dormitory clean area, but did not get penalized for it because it had been thrown out. It was thrown out by Ashley Johnson and J.R. Lewis, and they gave me extra duty, but was not they did not give me the extra duty as required as they said they were gonna give it to me, and I had and further notice, they gave me they let me come back to the dorm and keep my dorm orderly job.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, tell me about your crime. What caused you to do these things? Tell me about this is a pretty significant crimes here. Well, tell me what caused you to do this stuff?
Because they do it, for the further apart, it was just political, and I thought it was I know it was not appropriate to do so, but it was just the unappropriate way to do it, and I was just not in the fresh of a mind at the time. When I went to as I was during the time of the crime, and I just did I know it was wrong, and I apologize for my convenience and my statement that what I did was wrong, and I will thank to just go back to, and I'm ready to go back to society. And for further notice, or could you please give me the understanding of what you're trying to say?
I was just asking you about the crime. Why did you commit the crime? It was a bad crime. It was a terrible thing with young children. Tell me what caused you to do those things.
Okay, well, I thought at one point I thought he was at the age older than I was, and I was politically not paying attention at the time on how old he was, and how abusive crime could be, and the convenience, and that it was happening. So I had apologized, and and I just was sorry for my wrong on my behalf, and didn't know exactly what.
So what did you learn? What did you learn in sex offender treatment?
In the sex offender treatment.
Yeah, what did you learn? You don't have to look down at the papers. You can just tell me what you learned.
Okay, in the sex offender treatment, I learned about the status, how to avoid, or having it's not right to have interaction with kids, or interactive, and I learned about the courses of the sex offender, and I have learned about they have teach you, and they have teach you the proper status of how to be able to control your fears, how to be able to control your anger, and how to be able to control your sex morality, to be able to do that status again, and to be able to come back to jail again.
Okay, now, are you do you take any type of medication? Are you on any medication?
No, sir.
Okay. What are your plans if you were be released? Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to attend church. I'm going to do better things. I'm going to
Job. What kind of job are you gonna get?
I'm going to my brother. He own a construction site. He's so I can be able to get a job with him, or I can be able to help my community, like feeding the needs and feeding the homeless, and
Who are you gonna live with?
sir.
Who are you gonna live with? If you're released, who are you gonna live with?
Oh, my brother Brandon Monroe.
Okay. Staff, do y'all have any input back there? Do y'all have any input on him? Anybody?
Talking to you.
Do y'all have any input for me on him at all? Do you know anything about him, or has he had any disciplines or any issues that we need to be aware of?
I'm not sure, because I don't come in contact with them until they come up for court. Let me get some help you.
Okay. All right, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay. But anyway, I thank you for coming to let me participate in this parole hearing. I also thank you for giving me another opportunity, a chance in life, and to be able to become a better person who I was back then, but who I am now today. And my name is Jeremy Johnson, DOC 623-427, the Louisiana Department of Public Safety and Corrections. And I'm gonna read a little something that I have wrote. The board of your Honorable completed on parole the October 6, 2022, schedule for parole hearing. Dear Honorable Board members, I appreciate this opportunity to come up for this schedule appearance and pray. I am eligible for parole supervision, which I believe responsible preparing myself for this opportunity that y'all have given me. I am orderly and get along with others. I've been incarcerated since my arrest and learned how to read, write, and thinking for a change lifestyle concerning of others. And now during this epidemic turn into a world pandemic, coronavirus data and the other virus with a new symbol of monkeypox. The quarantine of still an inmate still not wearing masks or without this throughout this facility, and we are one closed in a closed dorm. Okay, my health and my mistake are concerned. Excuse me, are concerned. Okay,
All right. Okay, thank you. Staff, you have something to say? Do you know this fella? Or you have any input on this?
How you doing, sir?
What's your name for the record?
Lieutenant Guys.
Do you have any information on him at all as far as any problems, any type of disciplinaries or anything that we need to be aware of?
No, sir. He never gave me any problems since he's been here.
Okay, so he's done well.
Yeah, he done pretty good. He done well.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, panel, prepare to vote. I'll vote first. Jeremy, sounds like you're heading the right direction, man. You're doing some good stuff. You're trying to do right. You know, look, you're getting close to really being released on your full-term date. For me today, I'm gonna have to deny you parole. You do have law enforcement opposition, you have victim opposition, and you know, keep working hard. And make sure you have a really good residence plan and maybe a better plan, get some with the transition folks and try to get that ironed out. But my vote is to deny today. Ms. Wise?
Jeremy, this is real hard for you. I know it was, but you did a good job. You really showed up and you did good. You did good. But for me, my vote is to deny with the recommendation that you get moved to a transitional work program. The thing says that you're eligible for transition work. Give you an opportunity to make a little money before you get out in 2024, the good time date. Because you said you completed your treatment and you got a good institutional record from the staff. But because of law enforcement opposition, the nature of your charge, I just think you need a little more time there. Take care of yourself.
Ms. Jackson?
Hi, Jeremy, likewise, you've done a good job while you're there. But I'm concerned that you don't have any family on the call today. And it's very important to have a strong support system when you get out of prison. You gotta have family who can be right there with you. And so I think you need to kind of work on getting your family on board and have them appear the next time. And you do have opposition from law enforcement and the victims. So my vote today is to deny. To encourage you to keep working hard.
Right, 3 votes to deny your parole. Your parole's been denied. Good luck to you. And it's 10:56. We'll adjourn at 10. So thank y'all.
All right, thank you.
You know, I just wish so badly that he didn't do such a horrendous crime. We'll get into, we don't have really a lot of details, but it was a classic harming of a child. Because I just almost like felt like rooting for him. I don't know. I kind of, it's like it kind of felt bad. You can see he's struggling. He's has what seems to be a clear learning disability, to say the least. And it's like he's trying, but he has no support. He has nowhere to go. Releasing him, and I'm pretty sure that this is how the board felt. I mean, he served 10 years of a 12-year sentence, and they would release inmates left and right, like this, without blinking an eye. But they see this, I think, on their charts as a clear strike against their parole rate, because the odds that he would come back for a parole violation without any outside support are just really high. I mean, that's not that he's at risk of harming a child again. That was not my takeaway. I think he's just at risk of violating parole. And how do I know that? Maybe he would hurt a child. I really don't know, but I'm saying I don't think that's what the parole board was concerned about. I think they just couldn't release him. If there was a parole project there for him, if he had a lot of family support, they, I think, would have done it. It was, Mr. Kelsey, I think, cracked up laughing there at the end of his speech when he starts reading it from the date down to the, he starts reading everything there. And then he starts talking about, I think, chicken pox, and Mr. Kelsey can't hold it together. But I still was surprised they voted no. I thought that they might have gone for it. Now, Richard, thank you for the info. What's interesting about this appeal is that he won the appeal. So he was initially sentenced to 40 years. Okay. And then he won the appeal and they dropped it down to 12. Now, to be sentenced to 40, he took a plea deal. And now the whole idea is that it says here, John attacks his conviction and sentence for his guilty plea for the crime of attempted aggravated sexual assault. He correctly urges that the Sixth Amendment rights were violated by prosecutorial actions taken against him after he was adjudicated incompetent to proceed and without the court subsequently finding him competent. Isn't that interesting? I mean, I think we could see how that would be possible. What I do like seeing here is that there's an appeal that's actually won. We don't see appeals that are won, and I could, it's easy to see how there would have been prosecutorial wrongdoing in this case. I mean, who takes a plea deal for 40 years anyways for attempted aggravated sexual assault? We never see that. You could do far worse and get just 20 years going on a jury trial. Now here's what they say: the salient early chronology of events. In early June 2012, the defendant, then 22 years of age, was arrested for sexually abusing a child previously that month. They don't say how old the child was. On June 8, 2012, the defendant was provided a lawyer. On October 15th, 2012, the defendant was indicted for the crime of aggravated sexual assault. So first it was attempted, and then they indicted him on the more severe charge. On October 24, 2012, through counsel, the defendant filed an application for the appointment of a sanity commission. Now, this is interesting how they do a sanity commission when, it's not that he's insane. It's more like, but anyways, I don't know, maybe that's just the bucket it falls under. Urging that he was suffering from mental disease or defect, I guess it could be defect, that precluded his ability to understand the proceedings or to assist counsel with his defense. On the date, the trial court ordered the requested sanity commission and appointed 2 psychiatrists to evaluate the defendant's mental status. The physicians disagreed as to the defendant's mental competency to proceed. On January 15, 2013, the trial court noted the differing conclusions and appointed a psychologist to further evaluate the defendant. Isn't that, wow, 2 psychiatrists with 2 different perspectives. What a shock, right? That's the thing. When you get professional opinions, I think the whole thing is a bit of a gimmick, frankly. I do. I think you can have 10 opinions and get 10 different results for so many different cases. On January 15, 2013, the trial court noted the different conclusions and appointed a psychologist for the condition. The third expert found the defendant to be mentally incompetent. So on April 30th, 2013, the trial court issued a ruling that the defendant lacked the capacity to proceed because of mental disease or defect that rendered him unable to understand the proceedings and to assist counsel. And I'll tell you, from what I've seen on this hearing, I saw someone that can understand the difference between right and wrong. Even to the point where it seemed almost like he lied in trying to say, "Oh, I thought the person was older," but it could just be slow, right? There's a big difference between knowing right and wrong and being slow. Also, he graduated high school, even though it was through special ed. He's still, and I'm saying this as someone who literally took the short bus to school and didn't graduate high school. I just dropped out in 10th grade, so. On May 1st, 2013, the trial court signed an order to transport the defendant Eastern Louisiana Mental Health System for evaluation and treatment. On May 30, 2013, the defendant was physically admitted. On October 8, 2013, the Assistant Clinical Director of Acting Chief Executive Officer advised the court by letter that the defendant presented has the mental capacity to proceed as he now understands the proceeding against him and can assist his attorney in defense. So isn't that interesting? They're like, he doesn't understand. So let's send him to a hospital. Okay, we sent him there. He's admitted on May 30th. Now, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. All right, now he understands what he did was wrong and he can help his defense attorney. We saved him. Great job. It's funny, right? Therefore, we are discharging Jeremy Johnson and returning him to the custody of the sheriff immediately. Like the whole thing seems a bit procedural, a bit gimmicky, but I guess what are you supposed to do? I'm not saying this in defense of him, by the way. I'm just saying this in the idea of the system where it's like, no, he doesn't understand what he did wrong because we had two professionals. They disagreed. We brought a third. The third said he's incompetent. Let's send him to a hospital. The hospital, they do a miracle. They do a complete miracle. All of a sudden, they get him up to like this like above standard where he understands how they come to that conclusion. Who the hell knows? Now they send him back to the sheriff. On October 29, 2013, a prosecutor sought to comply with the mandatory time frame that it assigned. Judge was unavailable that day. They brought the judge. This part I kind of lose track of what's going on. The assisting judge had presided over the October 29th sanity hearing. The assigned judge made no finding as to the defendant's competency to proceed. There's no order of judgment competency in his record. This is what I don't get. I think there's some technicality issues with the judges and things, but I don't know. The defendant's due process of trials is not, but the bottom line is that, and I'll put the link in the description, and thank you, Richard. The decree was the defendant. So actually, before I get to the decree, let's look at the conclusion. Because the inadvertent violation of the defendant's Sixth Amendment rights, all trial court actions taken on and after November 12, 2013 are vacated. So I think what it means is that including the amended plea of not guilty and not guilty by reason of insanity, the guilty plea on April 4th, 2014 to attempted aggravated sexual assault, the 40-year hard label sentence without benefits. So basically, because he was deemed incompetent, it seemed that in that period, he still had they amended the not guilty plea and by reason of insanity, and then he somehow took a guilty plea, which they amended to, and you see here the 40-year sentence. I don't know. Should we go up and read it? It's actually quite interesting. We previously held the trial courts cannot even accept guilty plea if there's unresolved request for sanity commission, even if counsel seeks to withdraw request. The instant facts are oh gosh, this is such an easy word. but when I'm reading it, egregious. In that this guilty plea was taken despite the most recent substantive ruling, the finding of mental incompetency by court order rendered April 30, 2012, and signed May 1st, 2012. No officer of the court, neither trial judge intended to do anything but follow the law. The mistake is understandable but must be rectified. Many factors led to the glitch in communication, including confusion about separate charges for separate records, mandatory time frame required, compliance, difficulty, multi-parish, good faith involvement of 2 judges and 2 prosecutors, and the sheer volume of court matters handled. It's pretty incredible that this all happened so quickly, but they fixed it. Because of the inadvertent violations of the defendant's Sixth Amendment rights, all trial court action. So that's how he went from a 40-year sentence to a 12-year sentence. It was remanded, and they basically, it's fascinating to me. It's like, at one point they thought it was so bad that they had to give him 40 years. And then when they someone caught that they screwed up. And as much as I am not rooting for him, it is still impressive to see a defense attorney do their job in this sense and right a judicial wrong. But how they then just say, you know what, they'll just be 12 years, because you could tell they just want to get rid of it. They want it to go away. So they dropped it to 12 years. And then fast forward 12 years later, it's as of March 26, 2024, he's still locked up, but he's going to be getting out in good time or just on his full term date any month now. And then what? So in reality, they just kicked the ball down the road. And I won't be surprised if we see him this year at a revocation hearing. And if we do, I'll put it on the playlist of return of. That's the playlist for those who come back a second time. And with that,
went over your arrest record. I see you're a 6th class offender. You had 11 DWI arrests and 10 other arrests involving alcohol and drugs. Tell me what the problem is.
I'm an addict.
You're an addict.
Yes, sir. I've had some problems, and
I see you've been in a transitional work program for a pretty good while. And let me ask you something. You were using alcohol and you've been on meth, cocaine. Tell me what do you think the solution to this is?
well, it's to stay away from the people that I was around when all this was going on. I mean, as far as the drug situation and everything, I've been trying to, do right. I've been working for almost 2 years in the work release program, and just trying to focus on to do the right thing.
Well, there's nobody said you couldn't work, but the problem I've had is you got to get off from drugs. Oh, what about the long-term substance abuse? Have you looked into taking any long-term substance abuse program?
Well, I've taken my classes that I was offered, and since I've been incarcerated, I went, in AA meetings and things. Took taking risk management. I've taken living in balance. I was in opiate and alcohol abuse class, and that was a 3-month program. You went 3 times a week, 2 times a day, 2 hours, 4 hours a day. I did that, and I've taken a reentry, but that is not proof. That was it.
But you've been in the transitional work program since 9/25 of 19. What's your job there at the transitional work program?
The one I have now, I work in housekeeping at Best Western, and I do laundry and clean rooms.
When was your last disciplinary write-up?
I've never had one.
You've never had a disciplinary write-up?
No, sir, not at all.
where is some of your family at today that would be speaking for you, or someone you may be living with, or someone, or where is any of your family at?
They're at home in Bossier City. My mother didn't know how to do it, to be on the video. Zoom.
Well, let me ask you, how many times do you think you've been arrested?
Oh, I don't know. Too many. I'm ashamed of it.
Probably about 25 to 30 times you've been arrested.
I'm sorry.
Either alcohol, drugs, or something. You've got to get a hold of this, start getting in some programs. I'm gonna tell you, you're a sex offender. One of the things that scares me to death is when you're drinking and driving, or using drugs, substance abuse and driving. I have a problem with it. You're at the age you've got to stop.
I know that.
Are you going to be? And you have a out date on 5/16 to 22. You've done almost 500 days of credits since you've been there. You've done some good things since you've been there, but I think you need to do more. I don't have any other questions. At this time, no other questions here that I see. Anything you'd like to say to the board before we vote?
I just hope that you would give me a chance to prove that I can do the right thing. I've been here in work release for 2 years. I've grown. I want to do right. I want to do right by my family and everything. I've lost a lot of people in my family since I've been incarcerated, and I don't have no desire to do any drugs, or drinking, or anything anymore. And I plan on going to AA meetings and going to celebrating recovery and things like that when I get out.
Okay. All right, Ms. Lisa, at this time, the board will be voting. Your case has been assigned to me. Today, I'm going to be voting to deny. I think you need to work on some more programs. You're a 6th class offender. I looked at the DWI arrest. I was amazed. Usually when they say that many arrests, you probably had double that never was brought up. But today, my vote is going to be to deny. I think you need more programs, and you're set up as a moderate risk. Mr. Roche.
Ms. Grantham,
Yes, sir.
based upon the entire legal community with your criminal background has voiced that they're opposed to the early release. The sentencing judge, the DA's office, the sheriff's office. You have a very high risk assessment because of your record. And by the grace of God, you have not lamed or injured or killed anybody while drinking and under the influence. And personally, I think you're a risk to public safety. And as long as you're a risk to public safety, I will not vote to release you early. So my vote is to deny your request.
Mr. Marabella.
Ms. Grantham, I agree with everything that's been said by my colleagues. I hope that you can get some programs that might be able to help you while you're there. But my vote today, based upon all of the things that have already been said, my vote today would be to deny.
And today, the vote has been to deny your parole because of the reasons stated. You are set up as a high risk, and you're a 6th class offender with over 10 DWIs. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that'll conclude our hearing. I want to thank each and every one.
This is her mugshot when she was arrested, I guess about 3 years before the time of this hearing date. She looks just much better in prison, in my opinion. And, it's interesting. No write-ups. She's doing fine on work release with the structure, but she is an absolute danger to society living amongst us. And, they gave her a 15-year sentence, which all I can say is about time. How is it possible that you can have, Mr. Jim Wise is interviewed all over the place. I'm pretty sure he mentioned sex offense once, which is not what she's in for. And he said that she has 11 DUIs, 10 DUIs, but she has a lot of DUIs. And it's like, how is that possible? But we have seen it. We have seen a bunch where they are in for a vehicular homicide, and the DA, sometimes if they show up, or the victims or the parole board says, wow, you had been arrested 8 times for DUI before you then took someone's life in the car. And it's just how a judge lets this happen, how they let them get away with it is only mind-blowing to me. But thankfully the right thing was done here, and they denied her. Good time is 2033. So we've got 9 more years of driving safe in Louisiana, or a little bit safer. And I hope they keep denying her. You cannot, it comes down to, can you flip a coin? Can you flip a coin and say, let her back out? Because no, at a certain point you lose that opportunity. You can't be trusted. That's plain and simple. Yeah, with that, I'll let you go.
Appropriate time will allow you to speak. Derek Bradley, DOC number 711355, 4th class offender, 2nd-degree battery, simple burglary, habitual offender law, simple burglary, sentenced on 2/27/2018, revoked on 11/14/2019, sentenced 10/30/2019, 3 years, DOC, corrections as to each count concurrent, suspended 3 years, active probation, revoked 11/4/2019, 3 years hard labor, 4 years hard labor at DOC. Parole date 7/16/2020. Good time date 3/18/2023. Full term date 7/16/2023. Does that sound correct?
That's that question to me.
Does that sound correct?
Yes, I had just completed another class added to that, but I just haven't received a certificate yet.
Okay, what is
good time date? It was Inside Out Dad.
Okay. And when did you complete it?
About 3 days ago.
Okay, well, yeah, it's hadn't probably showed up. I'm sure they'll get that squared away.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so tell me, when's your last disciplinary write-up?
I haven't had one, sir. Never had one.
You've never had one. How long have you been down?
13 months, sir.
And tell me about your obviously you have some issues with some supervision. Tell me what's going on there.
I have some what? I didn't understand the question.
Supervision. You've been revoked. You have some issues with supervision. Getting out, being supervised, you were revoked. So.
Yeah, it was because of the last charge that I had. That's why I was revoked. And I actually, wanted to revoke myself, but that's the only reason why. Everything else was good. I didn't have any problems with.
Getting a new felony is a problem.
Yeah, I understand.
I'd say that's a problem. What's going on with you? What happened?
Well, I was at a job site, and I went back after they locked the supply closet unit on the outside of the building, and I got some supply cleaners to clean the building next door, and the owner didn't agree with me going back and in the backyard getting supplies because I was using this materials to clean another building, and I was arrested for simple burglary, which I didn't burglarize anything. I only went into a 12 by 12 supply closet unit to get cleaning supplies out. And it was first recorded as a theft, and then it came back as a simple burglary, which I found out through an investigator that someone else was convicted for burglarizing the place 6 months after I got this conviction. But prior to that, I had no problems on probation at all, sir.
Your fees were straight, you were meeting with your PO, no problem.
Excuse me, sir?
How long were you out? How long were you on parole?
I wasn't on parole, I was on probation. I never been
Probation. How long were you on probation?
It was a three-year probation, and I was on it. I was almost off. Now it should be finished, but I mean, it was like only a couple of months left before it was over with.
Okay. So what's your plans if you were to be released early? What's your plans? Where you gonna go? What you gonna do?
Okay, well, I produce music for a living, and a lifetime dream of mine was to start a marching band for the New Orleans Saints, and that's basically what I'm going to pursue when I get out. You know, I want to do that, and I have support with my family, a very loving and supportive family. They're going to be there for me to help me through to get on my feet and whatever else needs to be done. But I do want to do that, and I also want to start something for the youth in music, because I've been doing music since 1991, and I'm very good at it. And I want to just, you know, be able to teach children and show them that, you know, there's a better way. And this experience has taught me a big lesson. You know, I appreciate it coming to jail, because without this experience, it wouldn't have given me the motivation that I needed to go out here and do what I need to do, be a productive citizen.
Have you taken any anger management or cage of rage or anything?
The only anger management that I had was in pre-release and in Inside Out Dad. They did have a module that pertained to anger management and, you know, things surrounding that subject. I never really had a problem with anger. I mean, I'm pretty level-headed, and you know, I don't have any convictions of anger problem, you know, things. I just, you know, I never really had a problem with anger.
Yeah, I mean, I say on your rap sheet you had a couple that are concerning. You know, I mean, it's been years back, but you got some domestic violence you were arrested for. You were arrested for an aggravated battery, not necessarily charged, but arrested. So I'm just saying.
That was just disagreements between.
I get it, but
things
I understand.
Like that, you know?
It's how we see it here on the rap sheet. I mean, I get it. That's still some anger issues that you know, you probably need to be, you know, to definitely be looking at. What and so where you say you're gonna live?
Well, when I get out, I plan to live with my mother. She's staying over in Kenner, Louisiana.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay with her until I can get my own place and, you know, get back on my feet.
Okay, Warden, you have any comments there?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bradley's only been with us here about 9 months. He came from our reception center. No problems, no disciplinary write-ups, respectful gentleman. He's completed inside outside dash. He earned a little bit of good time there. He's currently on the backlog list for cage of rage and living in balance. Just hasn't been able to get in yet. He should be enrolled in the next class. I think that he would benefit from both of those.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have anything else.
All right, great, thank you. All right, Mr. Jones, you have any questions?
Good morning, Mr. Bradley.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How far did you go in school?
I'm finished school.
Good. Finished high school?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to college at all?
Yes, I went to school for private security investigations. I have a diploma in that. And I also went to school to be a millwright. I have a diploma in that.
But you don't want to be a millwright.
Well, I'm getting to the age where I want to work my mind as hard as I had to work my body in order to make a living. It's pretty hard being a millwright.
I understand that. That's what I understand. I had a young lady who was a millwright, appeared before us a few weeks ago, and she was the first female millwright I knew of.
Yeah, they have a couple that I know of, not many at all.
Yeah.
My father and uncle were millwrights.
You would agree, as a music producer,
Yes.
that it is not a profession with a whole lot of certainty in it.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
And your plan is not, it's what you want to do, but whether you can succeed at that, whether everybody will want what you have to sell, is not foretold.
I understand that. You're right. I've been dealing with it for a long time, so you're absolutely right. But I'm established in my city, and I'm known for what I do, and thank God a lot of people seek me to do their projects, and I've worked locally for the local radio station doing commercials and stuff like that. It's enough. I've gained enough over the years to try, to be able to at least keep my head above water without having to do anything that I shouldn't have to do to make a living.
A music director, a music producer is to music what a movie director is to movies, right?
Pretty much, yes, sir.
Producers in movies are the ones that put up all the dough.
I understand.
So
I understand.
I wanted to tell you that that what you did was a burglary. People don't have to be in the building. If you break into a building, that's a burglary. Now there's a different crime, a much more serious crime of burglary of an inhabited dwelling.
Yeah.
That's if you break into somebody's house. That's a worse offense. So I just wanted to disabuse you of the notion that you did not commit a burglary, because what you told me you did is a burglary.
So, like going into a supply shelving unit 10 feet, 15 feet away from the building next to a dumpster would be considered as a burglary.
Was it a building?
No, sir. It was a 12 by 12 Rubbermaid supply shelving unit. Outside of the business.
12 by 12? 12 feet by 12 feet?
Yes, sir. I wear size 13. I couldn't even get my whole foot in the thing. And it was not in the building. The building was never burglarized. This is something that I didn't have to jump a fence or nothing. I walked right off the sidewalk 2 feet away from the sidewalk next to a dumpster. And I went into a supply shelving unit, which had a lock on it, but I reached into the top of it and I got the supplies out that I needed. And that was considered as a theft in the beginning. But as the process went along, they upgraded it to a simple burglary.
Well, I don't have the statute in front of me.
Yeah.
But I suspect it qualifies. I think it's probably not a charge you like, but it probably met the definition of a building. I'd have to look, but so anyway, that's neither here nor there, because that's not what we're here for today. But I just wanted to tell you that. That's all the questions I have, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bradley, how's it going?
Yes, ma'am. I'm fine. How are you?
All right, all right. I don't know if I know you know this, but with the pandemic and all, and football being the way it is, it's not very feasible going forward.
Yeah. I thought about that, unfortunately.
That was kind of concerning to me, because and I do want to inform you, as a part of this process, we reach out to your victim to get their opinion about your early release, and you have victim opposition, because you were involved in a lot of property crimes, and that's just not good for our community to be concerned that someone's going to come and take what we've worked for.
I respect your point of view, but that's just not about to happen with me ever again. That's just, it's not about to happen. This unfortunately was a crime that I was not aware of what, that I was committed.
But sir, you knew the supplies did not belong to you,
Okay.
didn't you? Were they yours?
Yes, ma'am.
The supplies
ma'am.
were yours?
No, ma'am, they weren't. That,
It belonged
you know,
to somebody
the
else?
only thing that was mine was the gloves, the latex gloves. But it was in that's my supply shelving unit. That's what I'm considering it as. Working on that job. It's like, okay, this is my unit. This is where I keep my stuff. But no, I mean, they purchased it. You know, it was for my use, but they purchased it.
Right, that's correct. And they purchased it for you to do jobs for them.
Yes, ma'am.
Not for your side job. And you realize they habitualized you this time. They
Yes, I do.
habitualized you.
And it's only because of the second one. And I didn't realize this. Look, I'm not ignorant of the law is no excuse, but I've learned a lot through this process. And now I kind of like see how it plays out when stuff like this happens. So like I said earlier, that'll never be a problem again for me.
And sir, the record shows that you are the father of 5 children. Is that correct?
That's correct. And 3 grandkids.
And 3 grandkids. So you got a lot of people looking up to you. And you're going to have to teach them to not bother things that don't belong to you.
Exactly. You're right.
Because that would keep you out of jail.
I agree.
You have to make sure you learn that lesson so you can pass it on to your 5 children and grandkids.
Believe me, I have,
Right,
and I agree with you.
I hope you're right, sir. That's all I had.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. All right. Darius, would you like to make a statement?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, I would love to make a statement, and I thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to do so. I am the brother of Derek Bradley. This is kind of hard for me to listen to this morning, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. So you may hear my voice cracking a little bit. It's not easy for me to see my brother in this situation. And it's not easy for me to hear the charges and everything that's being stated this morning. So forgive me for the cracking of my voice. It's just difficult for me because that's my big brother and I love him very much. But with that being said, I'm not here to minuscule any of the discrepancies that my brother has been involved in. But what I am here to do is paint the picture that, he's organically a beautiful person inside and out. I don't know why he accepted the invitation of temptation. That's not how we were raised. I know we all experience things in life. And sometimes, we let those experiences guide us in directions that we shouldn't go. I'm not trying to excuse my brother's behavior, but I am here to see him for who he is becoming, not to excuse what he has done, but I don't want to hold him there. I personally just want to give him an opportunity to continue becoming better than his best in every area of life. I truly believe that he has learned his lesson, and there will be many other opportunities to continue to grow and learn as long as we are alive. But it's just in my heart that I believe that he will not revisit those areas that caused him to be where he is right now. I love him with all of my heart. And I know the people that he has hurt, who have pressed charges against him, they feel some kind of way as well. They have families, they work hard, they're trying to live a productive life. And every now and again, we all have hiccups and we need a glass of water. And I think this glass of water that my brother's been provided will enable him to continue to grow in a more righteous way so that he can be there for his 5 kids and his 3 grandkids and see my mom again, who's definitely getting up in age and is not in the best of health. My brother has me and his sister, our sister as well, who would love to see him and help him in any area of life, in every area of life that he may need that help. I heard you guys mention about him being a producer and, the coronavirus and everything else that's going on. Maybe we'll not enable that as well as we may think, but I'm also in the entertainment business. I'm a motivational speaker and I do real estate. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to my brother, but I have a lot of great things lined up for him when he does get out, for his construction and helping me with these houses and producing music for me as well. I travel and I work for the school district. I'm in the, correctional facilities, talking to our young men and women. I work for corporate as well. I do a lot of work behind the scenes for the medical department. And I just have some great opportunities for my brother when he does get out. So I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but I just truly believe that it's possible to become better than your best, learn from your mistakes and continue to grow. And I just thank you guys for this time and opportunity to speak my heart and also to see my brother who I haven't seen in quite some time. And I just thank you guys so very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Derek, would you like to make a statement on your behalf, Derek?
I'm speechless right now. I just ask the board to find it in your hearts to, know that sometimes people do change for the better. And I'm just willing to put my best foot forward if you give me the opportunity to go out here and be a productive citizen, to help who I can help, and to use my past experience to teach, especially the youth, what, that they have an opportunity or they can make it the right decision, even though sometimes it don't seem like it's possible. Sometimes you just have to hold on and ask for help instead of trying to do it yourself. And I just want to be used in the most positive way that I can. This experience has taught me, it's like I don't want to jaywalk when I get out. I want to use the pooper scooper for the dog. I don't want to spit on the ground. And it's taught me something that I've never seen in my 50 years of life. And like I said, funny as it may sound, I appreciate being in jail because I believe that it saved my life, and I know that it changed my life. So, I know you guys have a job to do, and I respect your decision to the fullest, whichever way it may go. But I'm just asking you to find in your hearts to give me another chance at life. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pamela, prepare to vote?
Yep.
All right, I'll go ahead and vote first since I'll talk to you. Warden, what is the look, I'll be honest with you, Derek, I like what you're doing, the things, you're heading the right direction, you're doing the right thing, you got a lot of good support. For me, I would like to see you at least take an anger management course before you leave. I want to know from the warden, how soon can he get into class? And if you successfully complete that class, then I'm willing to grant you parole. That's where I am right now. I don't know about my colleagues. I don't know what they're going to say. Warden, what is the chance of that happening?
Is backlogged to living in balance and cage to rage. Right now, we've been kind of doing it as distance learning and sending the materials to them.
How soon can he get bumped up is what I'm asking.
Finish the class, so it shouldn't be too much longer.
Yeah, you cut out, I'm sorry. Can he get bumped up and get started with it?
Yes, sir. I think we can do that.
Can you make that happen?
Yes, sir.
And how long is that class?
I think it's 10 or 12 weeks.
Okay, and you'll get that done. Okay. This is what I can do for you, Derek. Look, hey, you're working hard, and and this is for me. You're right. We got to make decisions here. They're always difficult. We always want to make the right decision. I believe that you're working hard, doing the right things. I'll be willing to grant your parole after you've completed cage of rage, and we're going to get the warden to go ahead and get you in that, so you can start that. And obviously, you're a smart guy. You might can finish it sooner. But after that, I would grant you to curfew from 9 p to 6 a. I'd want you to do some community service, at least 4 hours per month. Give back to the community, to your church, whatever you need to do. I want you to maintain full-time employment. That's my vote. Joe?
I'm going to ask the indulgence of my colleagues to ask Mr. Bradley another question or two. Mr. Bradley, you were on probation on a heroin conviction, and there's been a rule to revoke your probation file that you're going to have to deal with if you're released on parole. So you know that.
That's it's over with.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. But my question is about the heroin addiction. Where are you with that?
Well, excuse me, what was the question?
Tell me about your heroin addiction.
Okay, that is something. I have Crohn's disease, and for a long time, for at least 12 to 13 years, I was on all kind of medicines for it. And honestly, I couldn't find nothing to take the pain away. I've never been a drug dealer or a drug user in my life. And the year that I did try heroin, I was admitted into the hospital 19 times. I had 4 surgeries in 1 year. The ambulance came 103 times that year. And in my mind, it was either take a bullet to the head, which I'm too scared to do, or find something to stop this pain. So beyond my better judgment, I tried it, and it helped the pain. And I did start using it for a while, at least 2 years. But since that conviction, I've not touched it. I don't want to see it. I've not had no problems with the Crohn's disease. And it's a thing of a short past in my memory that I had. It's something that I don't wish to indulge in. Honestly, I don't want to have nothing to do with no kind of drugs. And you can see, prior to that, I've never had a conviction or an arrest on drugs in my life.
Yep.
You know, this is the only reason why I tried heroin. You know, it's really the God's honest truth. I have no other explanation for it. I was trying to seek something to relieve the pain so I can just feel normal and go about a normal day. With Crohn's disease, you wake up just about every morning with sickness, and it was very miserable. And at the time, it really faded my judgment. I just wanted to have some relief. And, you know,
I understand.
I tried just about anything to get the relief. And that's what led to the use and the trial of that drug.
All right. Well, I agree with Mr. Kelsey that you're doing the right things, and we see precious few inmates tell us that going to prison was a good thing, much less the best thing that ever happened to them. But I understand what you mean by that, and I'm glad you shared it with us. I am also going to agree to vote to grant your parole with the conditions set forth by Mr. Kelsey. Good luck, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you.
Ms. Wise?
Mr. Bradley. I'm really concerned, but my colleagues see something that I don't see. And I tend to strive to, you have a high Tiger score, you have poor supervision history, and you have victims of opposition. And those are my reasons to deny you. But since they see something that's not clear to me, I'm gonna take a chance on you. My vote is to grant, but I would like my colleagues to add that he complete living in balance as well as anger management. You have 9 months from the time that we grant for him to do that. If my colleagues will agree with that, my vote is to grant as well for the reasons that's been stated on the record. Yes, sir.
I'm good with that.
It's something going on, Ms. Bradley. It's one thing to know, it's another thing to do. And you haven't done a lot that you know to do. And that's concerning for me. But best wishes to you, sir. My vote is to grant. I'm taking a chance on you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Warden, we're gonna add that too. We're gonna add the living in balance too. So we want to try to get those, get him in those classes and get things going.
I agree with Mrs. Wise, additional condition.
And also add a condition that when he's released, report weekly for the first 4 weeks and random drug screens by P&P. And I don't know how they're gonna be doing it right now, but you need to check in, quite often.
Mr. Bradley, we really don't want to ever see you again.
That's the point. That's it.
That's what this is about, and prove us right if you don't mind. Okay.
Well, only way you'll see me is in Walmart somewhere.
All right. Good. I don't go there very often, so we're good.
After successful completion of living in balance and cage your rage, you'll have a curfew from 9 p to 6 a. You'll maintain employment, 4 hours per month of community service. Report weekly to your PO for the first 4 weeks. And I want you to do, while you're out there, I know it was a short time, but I want you to do one time a week, weekly, NAA meeting. NA meeting, it'll help you in a lot of ways. So do that one time a week. However, it'll be on Zoom now until you can go live, but one weekly. You understand stipulations?
And random drug screens by PNP.
Yep, random. You got that
Drug
down.
screen.
I wrote it, but didn't say it. Random drug screens by PNP.
And that may be once a year, maybe once a month. It may, you don't have that long, but know that they can call you at any time.
You understand the
want to get the drug
stipulations?
Yes, I do.
All right, we work the grant. Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Well, there is one thing that he was right with this and with this statement, and that is that they will never see him again. He passed away just 7 months after his release. It doesn't say from what, but yeah, it's tragic. I think Miss Wise it was interesting, but I think her spidey senses were right, and we don't know how he passed, but there are sadly a lot of people who do get out from prison who had addiction problems, and their tolerance isn't what it used to be or whatnot. And with the fentanyl and everything, you hear about these things happening all the time. Again, we have no idea how it happened. It could have been, but they don't mention, Richard shared his obituary, and it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything. And, it was interesting that I thought that the whole hearing was kind of odd. It was almost like he wasn't taking responsibility, and it seemed like they were kind of letting him get away with it, and then being the director of the whole music thing. One of his things that he was arrested for, Richard, thank you for the info, was it was a string of burglaries, right? And including items that were taken off a porch, a bicycle, guitars, and a computer, and they caught it on camera. And so that was certainly interesting. But I don't know, one of those, I'm a little surprised, I guess, because Keith Jones is usually all about the whole AANA thing, and he didn't seem to really pick up on that so much. But there you have it. I think Miss Wise was right. It probably would have been better for him to, he took the programs and all that stuff, but it only takes one mistake. Thank you, Richard, for the info, and with that, I'll let you go.
Rody Sherman, DOC number 127327, second class offender. Let's see, attempted murder. Attempted first degree murder, 2 counts, 50 years, 50 concurrent. Parole date is now. You have a good time date, 11/10/2026. Full term date is 11/6/2038. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please answer, Mr. Jim Wise.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I looked at your case real good. I went over it last night. You've been in and out. You're 49 years of age. Is that correct?
I'm 50.
Okay, you're 50 now. Okay. Well, in 16, you were charged with heroin, obstruction of justice, battery on a police officer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
As I look back through your record, you had dealings with police officers back and forth. You were charged at one time in '89. You were sentenced. You had 50 years for attempted first degree murder. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. What is some of the? And I see you had a little juvenile, some problems with your juvenile record there. But when you got out, you just kept getting in trouble back and forth. Tell tell me a little what happened. Was you on drugs during that time or what happened?
What time you talking about, sir? When I come home from the
Both
from the juvenile, or from on my
Well, first of all, I want to know is your anger towards police officers. What is your anger towards police officers?
I don't have no anger toward the police officer. I admit that I was wrong at the time. On the first incident in 1988, I was 17 years old. I was a kid. I did 25 years for that and was released and went home on that charge. I'm no longer in for that charge, but I don't have nothing. But I was a kid when that incident happened in 88, sir. I don't have nothing against
All right, well, I understand that, but you come right back after that serious charge and had problems with a police officer. We have both victims here today, sitting here listening. They're gonna have a chance to speak, and you know, our police officers is we have to have them, and you know, after the long stay that you had, you was right back into battery on a police officer, and you was in possession of heroin, like you just kind of turned your cheek.
No.
And you got revoked too on this case.
Yes, that's yeah, I had, that's why I asked you what you were talking about, the juvenile charge, because that was my first charge after juvenile, but on my original charge, on the heroin charge, yes, sir, I was on heroin at the time. And I OD'd when I got loaded, I had OD'd, and on the police report, they said I accidentally, on the amateur, I accidentally hit the police officer. I OD'd and went to the hospital for 3 days.
Yes.
So I was in cohesive, I didn't know what had happened.
When was your last disciplinary write-up?
I never received a write-up because I've been incarcerated this time.
Since you've been incarcerated this time, you've not had any disciplinary write-ups?
No, sir.
Okay. And your programs, what programs have you been taking?
I took substance abuse program and anger management program.
You know, you've already been revoked once, and respect for the police officers. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mr. Sherman. You need some kind of anger management. Now, I know right now that it's hard to do a lot of that stuff because of the COVID, but
anger management, right?
You need to work on some things.
I have anger management, so this is right here, sir. Feed the read right here.
Okay, I see it. I just found it. I've been looking for it, and I found it. Sorry about that, but
and
I don't have any questions.
All right, Ms. Pearl Wise.
Sir, I don't have any questions, but I do want to put on the record that we received a letter from the Prison Enterprise Garments Factory dated May 2019, and she described you as exhibiting exemplary work ethics, you work well with others, and you were dedicated to your job. I just want to commend you for that. I just want to note that for the record.
Thank you, man.
All right, good luck to you, sir. That's all I have.
Mr. Sherman, when did you start using drugs?
When I was 18.
What drugs were you using back when you were 18?
Yes, sir. I was like 17 when I started using drugs.
What were you using?
I was smoking weed and snorting a little coke.
Okay. And when you got out of prison, when you got paroled, what made you go back to drugs?
To be honest, I take full responsibility of my actions, sir. Even though on the 25 years I did, I did a lot of certificates, went to AA substance abuse program and everything. But what happened? No excuses. I was on a motorbike accident, and I hurt my back, and they put me on pain pills, and I got back addicted to like that.
What is your plan if you are paroled? Where are you going to live? Where are you going to work?
I'm gonna stay with my sister. I'm gonna live with my sister. My friend have a job for me for auto mechanic job, and he got the auto mechanic job, and he got the pressure washing machine. I'm gonna go work with him.
What substance abuse program have you taken while you've been in prison?
I have, I got two substance abuse program certificates.
What are they?
They just have, substance abuse program.
Are you doing AA meetings?
No, they don't have AA meetings here, sir.
Have you ever done AA meetings?
Yes, ma'am. If you look at my file on when I first did the 25 years, I got about 50 certificates. I got AA, NA, substance abuse, everything in there.
Were you doing AA meetings when you got out of prison before you got arrested again for the heroin?
No, sir, I wasn't on the drugs then. I ain't went to none of them.
Why weren't you going to AA meetings?
Because I knew I had to go to them out there, sir.
Well, what did you learn in the 25 years you were in prison and all of the programs that you took?
Yeah, but I know no excuses, sir. No excuses.
Well, I understand that, but all of the programs that you indicated you took the first time you were in jail and everything was fine until you got in this motorcycle accident, they didn't suggest that you needed to continue to go to AA meetings and all those kinds of meetings to stay off of those drugs that you've been on since you were 17?
No, sir. Nobody recommended go to AA meeting.
All right, that's all the questions I have.
Mr. Jones?
I have no questions.
All right. We'd like to hear a statement from Mr. Williams, please. Mr. Kevin Williams.
How you doing? Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I sit back and I listen to Mr. Sherman, and believe it or not, the same area where Mr. Sherman grew up in and where he shot my partner, Officer Lewis, and fired me. When he got released, of course, Carlton followed it more intent than I did, but I actually was rooting for him, man, because I know as a young man, sometimes you make bad choices. You grow up in an environment, but that same environment that he came from, we had a cops unit. We went back there, and from 1 year, we went from 57 murders to 1 murder. Of course, you remember, I lost another friend, Officer Darrell Holloway. We actually impacted that area. We see those kids. Mr. Sherman could have easily just went away because that environment wasn't even there for him to do. His choices that he made once he was released was his choices. He has to own those choices and sit there and simply try to find excuses. And outside of the fact that he got arrested, and just the only arrest that stands out with me was the one with resisting a police officer, battering a police officer. You didn't have to do. Yes, you can get caught up. Anybody can get caught up. I know a lot of people get in accidents, they get on painkillers, and they drive. But his choices in the 25 years he was in, I'm not sure if he had access to drugs, but actually his body, if he hadn't had access, his body had a chance to heal from that. So when he got out, it was his choice to continue to do that. And when you do that, you have to go into certain environments for that, because it's just, being from New Orleans and having been a police officer for 32 plus years, you want to help people. If I had encountered Mr. Sherman, even in the fact that he almost killed Officer Lewis, now Lieutenant Lewis, I still would have been for him, because I don't think that, I don't believe that you throw people away, but I also believe in being highly accountable for your own actions. And with that being said, I don't agree with Mr. Sherman has had a second chance and he didn't do anything with it. And to let him out now and he gets into another confrontation, he hurts. I'm not going to say it's the police officer, anybody, because everybody's life just as important as the next person's life. But at some point in time, he has to be accountable. And when he got out the first time, I wasn't opposed to it. I'm speaking for me. I know Carlton felt differently, but he had his second chance. And I think that now that he needs to remain there to finish out the full term of this, because you remember the charges ran concurrent, not consecutive. If it had been ran consecutive, then we wouldn't have this hearing right now.
Right.
I'm finished with my statement at that.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Lewis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk to you guys. I'm completely in opposition. Mr. Sherman has had, 25, he was given a second chance, and we were not a part of that second chance previously. We had no knowledge that he was being released. I actually bumped into him in the local Walmart And that's when I saw him. Of course, my family was in great fright because he was not only free, but he was living in an area where he also would go to the same Walmart, same drugstore, same library, and that disrupted my family quite a bit. While Mr. Sherman has had to be incarcerated due to his own choices, I've had a minimum of 18, maybe 20 different operations as it relates to the gunshot wound that I suffered October 31st, 1988. So this has not been an easy road for anybody involved. So I don't, excuse me if I don't have more compassion for Mr. Sherman. My life has been quite rough as well. Every day, every second of my day. It's not that I got shot in 1988. It's I'm getting shot since 1988. That's been my experiences. With 18 to 20 major surgeries, having heart attack, as it relates, some of it blood clots, medications that have affected my life in many different ways. These are the things that I experienced. So Mr. Sherman's not only incarcerated, I've been incarcerated also. And it's affected my life. It's affected my family, my children, and actually my marriage, which has been dissolved since then. So we've all had a hell of a ride here. I completely oppose a third chance. He's had his chances. He got out without opposition previously because we were not made a part of this. And I really appreciate you guys revamping and working the way you all have to perfect this whole process. But he was let out with no opposition before. He did nothing with it, and I don't think that the whole time he's incarcerated, he was sporting the fame and fortune and the nickname of Trigger Man. So had he separated himself from that lifestyle, it wasn't by choice. He was incarcerated. But had he had an opportunity to get another gun and have confrontation with a corrections officer or a police officer, it would have been the same thing. He's very proud of his nickname, Trigger Man, because he shoots the police.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ms. Krieger?
Good morning. Yes. It is going to be the position of the district attorney's office to strongly oppose any early release of Mr. Sherman for a few reasons. The first being he has a history of crimes of violence, in particular against police officers. When he was released early on parole supervision back in 2015, he was arrested and for battery against a police officer with injury and possession of heroin, as we know. I don't think he has learned his lesson. I think he says he was a kid in 1988. He wasn't a kid in 2015. So I think that just speaks to the fact that he does not respect the parole process. And the most important reason that we are going to be opposing any early release is, we've already heard from Officer Lewis, he has permanently, irrevocably changed this man's life, his quality of life, and he would be in a completely different place today if this wouldn't have happened. I just think that for those reasons, we just cannot support any release, and that's going to be our reasons.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sherman, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
That's right.
Go ahead.
Last month I tested positive for COVID-19. I was scared for my life because I'm 50 years old and I got a chronic illness, hepatitis C, cirrhosis of the liver. I realized I made a mistake. I just hope the board give me another opportunity. I know I could be a productive person in society again. And when they released me at 15, I went home on good time behavior. I ain't went on a parole board. I was released because I did 25 years and a half of my sentence. And I knew I made a mistake with the police officer, but I had OD, so when I woke up, I was in the hospital 3 days later. I don't remember what happened. They told me that I accidentally hit the police. I didn't bury, I didn't hit him, punch him, or none of that. I was incoherent on that. So I take full responsibility what I did, no excuse. But I was on drugs, I did have the heroin, but I didn't hit the police this time. When I went home, I held a job for 3 years, got my own apartment, I did good. This is something that just happened. No excuses, I take full responsibility of it. I apologized the first time to the officer, I was a kid, I know that happened. I can't take that back, I'm sorry for what happened. I apologize to Mr. Williams, Mr. Carl Lewis, I'm sorry. I'm 50 years old now, I'm not the same person. Don't have nothing against the police officer, sir.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Is the panel prepared to vote? Mr. Jim Wise?
At this time, I'm gonna be voting to deny your parole. You served 25 years. And when you got out, you got back and had another charge involving police officers. These two victims here today spoke. I was sitting and listening to them. I've been right where y'all was. I was a police officer, and I know what's around. But today, my vote is to deny your parole because of strong law enforcement opposition, also the strong district attorney's opposition and victims' opposition. Thank you.
Ms. Pearl
Sir, my vote is to deny as well. I think, again, I want to commend you on the work that you're doing. However, I just cannot, in face of the victim opposition that's been expressed, your criminal history of violence and a need for long-term substance abuse treatment, my vote is to deny today.
Mr. Marabella?
Mr. Chairman, my vote is also to deny for the same reasons that my colleagues have voted for. I would strongly suggest that you get some more substance abuse treatment and get more knowledge about what your problem is and how do you solve it. You're going to need more support than what you have with your drug problems. I base that upon what you've said to me, the fact that AA wasn't suggested to you, that you continue your meetings. So I hope the next time you come before a board that you'll have done more than that and recognize what your problem is.
Say something, sir.
All right, Mr. Jones?
Mr. Sherman, you have, I don't know how many times you said that you took full responsibility, no excuses. And every time you said that, you tried to say something that would make you less responsible or make excuses. No excuses for getting on drugs, but you had an accident, you got pain meds. And that's what caused you to be an addict. What caused you to be an addict is you were chasing the high. That's what caused you to be an addict. And then you were high on drugs, and that's why you shot Officer Lewis. And maybe you didn't say that exactly. That's sure what you meant. And it rang pretty hollow for me. Officer Lewis, I'm sorry I didn't get your rank. I'm sorry this happened to you. And as the old expression goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You're not gonna get out on parole, at least this time around, given what you did last time. My vote is to deny.
All right, yeah, 4 votes to deny. I'm also going to vote to deny your parole based on law enforcement opposition, victim opposition, moderate target score. You need more programming. 5 votes to deny your parole's been denied. Thank you. And we will close out at 11:06 at Riverbend Detention Center. Thank you. Thank you guys for all being here, part of the process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish that I had information to share with you to do a proper unpacking, but there's nothing on this. It's a black hole. This is what was to seem quite unique about this hearing, though, of course, was having 2 police officer victims, the ADA show up, and 5 board members voting on a parole hearing. I'm not 100% certain why it was 5. It could be that they were doing commutation hearings and pardon hearings today, so they had 5 board members there anyways, or it could be because of the seriousness of this crime. They require more board members. Frankly, I'm not 100% clear on that. Also what Richard has in the notes is that he did come up for a hearing 3 years later in 2023. Remember, this hearing took place in 2020, but the problem is that the parole board was putting up some incorrect information for a certain period of time during the November death row hearing dates. So I couldn't find it actually in that link, but I would love to find it and show you what that rehearing is. But this was, Keith Jones kind of said a lot of what I was thinking. He even in his, his final speech, it wasn't, of course, focused towards the police officers. It was all about, well, I don't even remember. I was high. I didn't, I'm sorry that it happened. The classic line, I'm sorry that it happened. It never ceases to just dumbfound me that someone that like 98% of them say, I'm sorry that it happened. Not, I'm sorry what I did. But it's pretty incredible that he would shoot at two police officers, get out on prison on good time, only to get locked back up for attacking police officers again. And they threw the book at them, at him. I am I'm really curious to know if he got paroled on his next hearing. I have a hard time seeing him getting paroled. He's dangerous. But if I do get it up, I'll pin it to the comments section with another link towards it, and we can check it out. And we might find it. Just take some time. We can move to the next hearing for now.